Misconfigured certificate authority. As we had discussed briefly in the previous section, at the heart of ADCS lies the certificate authority, usually referred to as CA. In simple terms, a CA is a trusted entity and it is responsible for issuing and managing digital certificates. These certificates are the digital counterparts of physical identification cards, serving as a means to vouch for the authenticity of users, devices, or serving operating within a network. Just like an identity document from a government verifies your identity, digital certificate issued by CA helps verify the identities of entities online. In the last section, we saw misconfigurations in certificate templates and how to exploit them. Here, we will look at certain misconfiguration in the certificate authority itself. Let's talk about ESC7. In addition to certificate templates, certificate authorities have their own set of permissions that govern various actions carried out by them. Two critical permissions from a security standpoint are the manage CA and manage certificate permissions. The manage CA permission empowers a principal to carry out administrative CA actions, including the modification of persistent configuration data. This permission extends to the edit f underscore attribute subject alt name 2 underscore flag. According to Microsoft's description, when this flag is enabled on the CA, it permits requesters to introduce custom values into the certificate into the subject alternative name. An attacker could gain access to certificates that allows them to impersonate domain administrators or any other active users or machines, creating an enormous security risk. On the other hand, the managed certificates permissions grants a principal the authority to approve pending certificate requests, effectively bypassing the manager approval issuance requirement protection. While not directly posing a threat to a domain security, malware can serve as an avenue for bypassing certain safeguards. With both these rights, an attacker can essentially specify a subject alternative name for all authentication templates within the certificate authority. As usual, we will use the find module to identify this vulnerability. Here we can see that the certificate authority has granted both the managed CA and managed certificate rights to authenticated users. In order to exploit this misconfiguration, there are 3 steps that you can follow. First, we need to create a certificate request just how we did for ESC1. We can use the request module along with the default template, sub-CA and the UPN of domain admin godfather to do so. This request fails or in fact succeeds and will be pending as the template was not vulnerable to ESC1. However, it generates a private key with the request ID here 53. We can use this ID to approve the request in the next step. Now we can use the CA module with the manage CA and manage certificates permissions to issue the certificate by specifying the ID in the issue request flag along with the CA, username, password and the DC IP. Now that we have the certificate issued, we can request for it again using the request module by passing the ID in the retrieve flag, along with all the previous flags such as username, password, CA, target and the DC IP. This generates the certificate of domain admin. Using the auth module, we can retrieve the NTLM hash. Let's talk about ESC8. ESC8 leverages the web enrollment interface feature within Active Directory certificate services. These web enrollment interfaces are optional components commonly deployed alongside Active Directory certificate services. Unfortunately, these web interfaces are susceptible to NTLM relay attacks due to the way they handle authentication. Firstly, not all the web interfaces offered by ADCS have HTTPS enabled, which is crucial for defending against NTLM relay attacks. Furthermore, for ESC8 to be effective, the certificate authority must have at least one published certificate template that permits client authentication and domain computer enrollment, a typical template configuration. This combination of factors make ADCS web enrollment endpoints attractive for attackers. For attackers seeking to relay NTLM authentication and elevate their privileges. NTLM authentication can be caused by exploiting the Windows spooler bug or petit bottom attacks from a domain controller. This authenticated NTLM session is then relayed to the vulnerable ADCS web enrollment endpoint using tools like NTLM Relay X. The relay attacks aims to request a certificate for the domain controller. In our lab, we will be using petit bottom to coerce authentication. In a real-world scenario, we will coerce authentication from a domain controller. Relay it to the ADCS endpoint and obtain a certificate of the domain controller to compromise the domain. But in our lab, since we have only one DC and the ADCS endpoint is also set up on the DC, coercing NTLM authentication and relaying it to the same machine is not possible as it is patched by Microsoft. So in order to showcase the attack, we will coerce authentication from the pentester machine and relay it to the ADCS endpoint to obtain a certificate for that machine. Firstly, we will use the find module to identify the vulnerability. We can see that the web enrollment is enabled for the CA. In order to exploit this, we will use the relay module with the flag target to specify the HTTP endpoint, along with the ADCS enrollment server IP, which is our DC IP. This listens for incoming authentications and relays it to the ADCS web endpoint. Now in order to trigger authentication, we will use petit bottom, which we have already downloaded in a previous module. In another tab, run petit bottom along with the username, password and domain name along with the attacker and target IP. Here the attacker IP is the IP of the Kali machine, which is 10.0.2.4 in my case. This might differ in your case. The target IP is the IP of the pentester machine, which is 10.0.2.123. This coerces authentication and relays the credentials. Going back to the relay tab, we can see that we have successfully authenticated against the ADCS web endpoint, and the machine certificate has been generated. We can extract the NTLM hash from this using the auth module. Let's talk about ESC11. ESC11 is similar to ESC8, involving the disabling of if underscore enforce encrypt cert request on the certificate authority. This specific configuration allows for encrypted iCert request to be initiated toward the remote procedural call endpoint on the certificate server. It represents yet another avenue for requesting a certificate distinct from the HTTP endpoint. It's worth noting that this setting isn't deactivated by default, but in certain scenarios, it may be turned off due to potential compatibility issues with legacy clients. Let us identify the vulnerability again using the find module. Here we can see that the encryption is not enforced for ICPR requests. Hence, we can relay authentication to the RPC endpoint. The exploit is identical to ISC8, where we will use the relay module to relay to the RPC endpoint of the DC. Here, we also need to specify the CA name. Again, we will be using petit bottom to coerce authentication from the pentester machine and relay it to the RPC endpoint. This command is same as we used earlier for ESC8. Going back to the relay module, we can see that the certificate for the machine account has been generated. We can use the auth module to extract the NTLM hash from it. These misconfigurations within Active Directory certificate services that we discussed underscore the critical importance of vigilance in securing this integral part of a network's infrastructure. The vulnerabilities outlined in various abuse scenarios demonstrate how seemingly innocuous configuration settings can open the door to significant security risks. Whether it's misconfigured certificate templates, lacks permissions, or the disabling of certain security features, these issues can have far-reaching consequences from credential theft to domain compromise. Organizations must prioritize regular audits, adhere to best practices, and stay informed about potential pitfalls to ensure the robust security of their ADCS implementation. By addressing these misconfigurations and implementing robust security measures, they can mitigate the risks associated with ADCS and maintain the integrity of their network environment.